Remember that? It's the opening theme from The Tonight Show.
I'm supposed to tell that with you whistling? They can't hear me anyway.
We were sitting here talking about how nervous we all are to sit in front of the producer's camera and do this. And I'm trying to allay the fears of my two wonderful guests this week, who are Nancy Hess, until very recently one of the first grade teachers at Visitation School, and Matt Gunter, school parent, and all around fabulous, man about town. I guess that you're a part of a whole lot of things here in the parish, aren't you?
Well, I've got two daughters here and a son who graduated, so we love the school here.
And it loves you.
Well, thank you.
Well, this is an important point. As a Catholic school, we need to be about more than reading, writing, and arithmetic, because education takes in a whole lot more than that. The Catholic ideal would be to educate the whole person, and so we also want to render lessons about the human condition, lessons about life here and the hereafter, if we want our school to be genuinely Catholic. And we attempt to do that in a number of ways. One of the, I think, more provocative ways is by bringing in some students from our local Cristo Rey Academy to work with our own folks. And often these are people of different ethnicities, people of color. Anyway, they're young people who've expressed a desire to making education their life's work, and we ask that they come here and work with our young people, and our young people are exposed to them, and there's a beautiful kind of cross-pollination that happens. Well, in order to bring in these 4 young people yearly to work in Visitation School, we need to raise some money. And to speak about the work of those young people from Cristo Rey at Visitation, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy and Matt and see what they've got to say. So, folks.
Well, thank you, Monsignor, and I think you said it perfectly well in terms of what we're trying to achieve with the Cristo Rey program at Visitation School. Last year, through the generosity of the parish, we were able to raise the funds to bring 4 Cristo Rey scholars to our classrooms and work with our youngest students at the school, and Nancy was really kind of the sponsor teacher for that. We had four students that each came 1 day a week and were in the classroom, and then I believe they rotate so that on Friday we have coverage as well. So there's literally a student in our classrooms every day. And Cristo Rey has a unique program where they really do draw a lot of students from lower income backgrounds. A lot of them are students of color as well. So generally a bit of a different background than a lot of the parishioners here at Visitation, and an opportunity for our students to really see people from different backgrounds in a position of authority. And so we didn't really know what to expect when we started this program last year, but I'll hand it over to Nancy to tell you I think it was an overwhelming success, and we really want to move forward again with this same program for the coming school year.
Thank you. Yeah, the program went really well this year. I think one of the things to remember is it's a new program, but I think it's going really well and it's growing as the teachers are figuring out the best uses for the students. But one of the first things that we did is also to put the students in a position of authority is that we call them by their last name, Ms. Ramirez, Mr. Banuelos, those things like that. And then the beautiful thing about it is that the students benefit and the teachers benefit. The students benefit because the interns come in and they help the students by reinforcing sight words. They come, and I know one teacher would have it set up every time the student would come in, and they would do reading fluency with her students. And she had trained them, and so they would just come in and poll the students as she did, and they would do a reading fluency with them. I had them come in and they would work on my morning work and check with my students, and they ask questions, which would free me up, and I would immediately start pulling students in the morning to work in small groups. And I had other teachers do similar things. So it was a great reinforcement, so the students got reinforced on skills that we don't always have the time to practice with them, and at the same time it frees us up to work more closely with our students on other skills that we might have. And then they're also great during break time because they do extra work that we might not have the time to do. They'll cut things out and things when we don't have the students with us. As the year went on, I had other teachers coming to me, like Miss Bhatia came to me from the tech lab, and she was like, so would it be possible when the kindergarten's here to have the Cristo Rey intern come and help me get them logged on? And so I saw a few more teachers starting to realize what benefit these interns could provide in their classroom. Ms. Shin had them come in every time twice a day during the second grade AR rotation. And so they were there to help those students log onto their AR, check out books, things like that. So different teachers started to realize, oh, wait a minute, this extra pair of hands with students would be so much help. So I think it was really a great benefit in that way. And I think as the year went on, more and more teachers started to realize this would be really helpful. So I'm hopeful that next year we'll see more and more teachers who are like, I see another way I could use this.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know which one of you will be in a better position to answer it, but Nancy, you've spoken about the good things that the Cristo Rey students do for us. Do you have anything to say about feedback you get from them? In any way, do we contribute to their education, to their matriculation as would-be teachers and human beings?
I think it depends. I think for some of the younger students, I know that they're looking at education, but I don't know if that's entirely set. I know that our senior, she said she loved coming to Visitation because it wasn't boring. She's like, I like this so much better than the last place I was at because it's never boring when she comes. She, though, ultimately, she's going to KU next year. Julie was fabulous, but is going to pursue a degree in nursing. But she said a lot of the skills that she learned would be great in going forward. But I don't know with the other ones, if they're going to pursue a degree in education, I don't know if they have decided yet. I think it's kind of young. I think it's early on for them to know for sure.
Yes. Do you sense that besides reinforcing academic things, there's anything in the way of a gathering cultural appreciation between these people?
There's not a lot of time, talking about that, but I know that there's a growing sense of, like, there's a comfort level. Like I looked over the other day and one of my girls had her arm wrapped around, Ashley's arm as she was helping her do something, because that child of mine is very much of a touchy-feely little child, but there's certainly a growing comfort level with the interns. They get very excited that they come. If they are not there, they're like, well, where are they today? Aren't they supposed, like if their morning work isn't checked by a certain time, they know that somebody has not arrived in our room. They're like, Ms. Hess, where are they? And I'm like, I think the bus is running late, or I got an email that they're sick today.
Yeah.
But throughout the day as our day goes on, because we're in the midst of that, I don't know that we have a lot of,
Yes. I of course recognize that we are working here with the range between kindergarten and 8th grade is really broad developmentally. Who am I to tell you? Watching some of them graduate the other day, I thought, is this an 8th grader? So I recognize there's something kind of unique about the Cristo Rey students working with you know, the youngest. But is there any thought, any advantage to them working with other age groups?
I think that could be something in the future, and I think it's one of those things that as we develop the program, that we could look at that as we go forward. And I think our thought with the youngest was the age discrepancy would have that comfort level better,
right.
and it makes them more of an authority figure at that age level. And so the more we get into it and the stronger the program becomes and the more confident the teachers are and we know what we're doing, I think it's definitely something we can explore. But I think, as with anything we want to do it right.
Sure.
And so I think doing it slowly and integrating more grade levels as we go and we're on firmer footing is probably the best way to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, right for us and right for the Cristo Rey kids, too. I think that Cristo Rey has expressed great satisfaction at what we're doing. I think maybe Visitation even was singled out as being a particularly good employer of their kids. I don't know, do you guys know anything about that?
We did have 2 of our 4 students were recognized as outstanding Cristo Rey scholars out of, I believe there were only 8, right, Nancy? I think 2 per grade,
Wow.
entire high school wide, and 2 of those were here at Visitation. So I think it was a really solid experience, as Nancy said. Whether those students ultimately decide to pursue a career in education, we shall wait and see. But I think the exposure and the life skills that those students are developing, I think, are very valuable as well.
Yes, sir. And we need to raise, what is it, $29,000?
Yeah, it's right around $30,000 to bring these 4 students, and that money goes to pay for the operations at Cristo Rey High School. So that's really the model. It's a work-study program. There are a number of Cristo Rey campuses around the country. We are blessed to have one here in town that is run by the Sisters of Charity, and it's roughly $7,000 to $8,000 per student paid to Cristo Rey to pay for their education, both their day they're here at Visitation and the other 4 days of the week.
Yes.
And so if there are parishioners that feel in their heart that they want to support this, we would welcome your generosity. I believe there's been some information in the bulletin and through the school communications about how to get a hold of us. Obviously, you could contact Megan in the parish office, or my email is Gunter, Gunter, .matt, M-A-T-T, the number 9 @gmail.com. You can reach out to me as well.
All right. There are indeed, I think, around 20, 25 Cristo Rey schools in the country, maybe even a few more than that. And the Cristo Rey concept, I think, was spawned by the Jesuits, perhaps in Chicago. And it was devised to serve the culturally and materially disadvantaged people who would not otherwise have an opportunity to attend Catholic secondary education. I'm told by folks associated with our local Cristo Rey Academy that our school here in Kansas City is one that serves an especially poor and disadvantaged population. So please understand that your philanthropic dollars for this effort really go to help people that are truly in need. And if folks want to give to this, they give directly to the parish.
You can send a check to the parish for Cristo Rey in the memo line. You might want to repeat that because I don't know if they can hear me. Or they can go to our online giving on our website, and there is a Cristo Rey box
All
on
right.
the website.
So if you want to give to this effort, you give directly to the parish and just write Cristo Rey Project in the memo line, or you can do it via the
Online giving button
online giving button,
on our website.
online giving button on our website.
And then there's a Cristo Rey
A Cristo Rey category, okay, all right. Well, who knows? Someday I may become more familiar with this technological stuff, but I doubt it, All right, well, thank you both for being with us today. It's a pleasure to see your bright and shiny faces. And I hope you have a good summer, that you get some time away, because I know you have a very challenging job.
Thank you.
And Matthew, I don't know what it is exactly you do.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife doesn't know either. So.
Yeah, well, some kind of secret and highly classified work, I guess. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We'll see you next week, and until then, goodbye and God bless.